I'm going to flash forward a couple of years initially just to put ourselves in the right position. So the year is 2023. You are starting your first day of work in your dream job in a big company in your specialist area. So Facebook, Deloitte, Johnson & Johnson, one of these large companies. How do you get there? That's the big question. That's the kind of the thing that everyone is asking for. So I'm going to, over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to outline a 4-step journey to success. Okay, so you'll be exploring your options, your student life, your graduation, and then finding a job. So it sounds simple, but it can be a difficult process. So let's get into it. Step 1 is exploring. So you're currently at this stage at the moment. So you find out about universities, about different countries, about different opportunities. This is the stage that you're at right now. So you can see here at the bottom corner, I counsel students all the time from all over ASEAN, normally face-to-face, but obviously with COVID restrictions, we have to do this through Zoom, but it's just as effective. So at the minute, you're at a very exciting and interesting time. You have, the world is at your feet. You can pick kind of whichever option you would like. So once you've found your option, you would then apply to your preferred destination, and then you make your journey hopefully to Ireland and to Limerick. And here's some of our students that have made the journey before you. Step 2 is student life, and this is a very, very important step. It's a hugely important part of your life, and it's very, very key. So a huge part of university life and student life in the University of Limerick is what we call practical internships and practical teaching. So every single student in the University of Limerick does an 8-month compulsory paid internship in a company related to their field of studies. So they will do an internship if they're in accountancy, they'll work with Deloitte. If they're in computer science, they'll work with Facebook, Google, Apple, Microsoft. If they're in pharmaceuticals, they'll work with Johnson & Johnson, Regeneron, huge multinational companies that will give them some experience and give you some experience before you finish your studies. That's a key thing to bear in mind. So practical teaching and internships is a big part. The second part is your new home. So this is the University of Limerick. It's a safe haven. It's an absolutely beautiful, award-winning campus. And all of our teaching, all of our social activities, all of our accommodation is housed on campus. So most of our students will live on campus, will do their teaching on campus, and will be based in the university. As I mentioned, it's quite a safe area in relation to COVID as well. We've had no new cases in the last 10 days in Limerick, and we've had a very, very strong response from the community and from the university on preventing the spread of COVID. And I have future plans outlined on how student life will be affected as well. And lastly is the very important piece of social activities. So we have a thing called, all of our clubs and societies are called the UL Wolves. So that is any sports activities, any music activities, drama, photography, debating, anything like that. You will be encouraged to join at least one of those and find your own wolf pack. So find your own group of friends, like-minded people who are kind of interested in the same things. So that's another key part of the university. It's not all about grades. It's not all about study. Part of university life is actually broadening your horizons and learning new things or excelling at things that you're already interested in. So step 3 is graduation day, and getting to this day is a big achievement. We provide a huge amount of support in the university to students to achieve this. So we provide things like English language learning, computer learning, mathematics learning, centers that will provide you free of charge extra tuition if you need it. Our faculty are very, very friendly. We have a very strong completion rate of students who join the university. Almost 97% complete the university programs within the duration. So that's the big celebration. Your parents will be there. You'll be able to celebrate with the gowns and the hats and things like that. And that's a key part of any university journey. However, the journey does not end at graduation day. The next stage is one of the most important stages, and it's the one that the University of Limerick provide a huge amount of support too. So how do you find your first job? How do you succeed at an interview? How do you start, and what skills do you need to succeed in your first day at work? So this is one of our students who just started in Facebook headquarters in Dublin. And he did a huge amount of work with our careers division. He did one-on-one interview preparation. He did a job market analysis. And this is something that we provide to all of our students. So we do help students not just get to graduation, but post-graduation, finding your success after that as well. So it sounds like Mount Everest, trying to go from where you are currently to, getting a job in a big multinational company in Dublin or in Ireland. A wise man once said to me, if you wanted someone to teach you how to climb Mount Everest, you would expect him to have climbed the mountain himself. Okay. So the good news for you is my journey is about 15 years later than yours, but I have gone through this journey as well. So I'm a UL alumni. I studied BA in Politics and International Relations, class of 2006. I did my internship in the Irish Department of Foreign Affairs. So I had a big interest in kind of international relations, how countries interact with each other, and how different cultures and people interact with each other. So it's always been my dream to work in international relations. I made friends for life. So the picture in the bottom right is me playing American football for the University of Limerick. And that was my wolf pack. So I found friends for life. I was best man for two teammates at their weddings and things like that. So it's a very, very good way to find friends in your university life. And the top photo is an old photo, but it's me on the right-hand side on graduation day. So I finished my program and graduated with my classmates as well. I then went into recruitment. So I worked in international recruitment for the NHS, the National Health Service in the UK, for 10 years. And really enjoyed myself, found fantastic career success there. And now I'm working in my dream job in the international division in UL. So it is possible, and it's something that UL has provided me the skills to achieve all of the kind of things that I wanted to achieve. We also have lots of international students who have completed this journey. So I want to reassure you, classes in UL are not as difficult as Mount Everest. It is something that it's quite an achievable dream for students. So let's hear from some of them. So rather than me telling you about their experiences.
The culture of Ireland just draws me here. Whether it's the literature, the music, going out and seeing the landscapes really just move my soul.
I decided to come to Ireland because my priority was how the environment would be. It was safe and friendly, and of course, such an excellent education system.
There is a lot of job opportunities. Ireland is growing really fast, and it's letting us grow with it. I haven't even finished my master and I got a job.
The opportunities in Dublin are great. There's so many huge businesses and there's so many opportunities to do postgrads. There's definitely something for everyone.
My experience so far has been nothing but positive. The university I attend is very supportive. The facilities and the resources are just endless.
The teachers are some of the best in the world, best experience in their fields, and you can really learn from them, not just what they're teaching you in the class, but their own perspectives.
The Irish people have a huge heart. Whenever you need help, anything, they're really friendly. I think it's the perfect environment to be a student.
There's always something to do. The city life here is vibrant and full of good crack.
Coming to Ireland has been one of the best decisions in my life. It has opened up a lot of avenues for me.
Looking back 4 years ago, I had no idea how much it would change my life to come to Ireland, and it's truly been life-changing. And I think that the people that I've met, the friends that I've made, will be my lifelong friends. And Ireland as a whole will always hold a special place in my heart.
Okay, so that is just a little bit about the experience of studying in Ireland. So I'll move on to the topic at hand now. So just a little bit about the University of Limerick and Ireland first. So UL is a public university, so a government university in Ireland. We're ranked in the top 100 young universities in the world. And the two things we focus on in particular, as you may have seen from our student journey, is career preparation and student experience. So we want all of our students that come to us to have a fantastic experience while on campus during that part of their journey. And we want all of our students to succeed in their careers after they leave UL and move on to their careers. And then Ireland is an English-speaking country in the European Union. It's one of the only English-speaking countries in Europe. It is the fastest growing economy in Europe for the last 5 years. And it is a center of excellence for tech, pharma, medical, and financial services, among others. So it is an area where we have a huge number of large companies basing their European headquarters here in Ireland. Just for you who don't know where it is, so our location, we're the nearest neighbour to the UK. We're separate from the United Kingdom, so the Republic of Ireland is a separate country. So we're both off the western coast of mainland Europe. So to give you an idea, London is about 1 hour by plane to Limerick. So to fly from here to London is about 1 hour. And then Ireland has a population very, very small. So if any of you are in KL, Ireland's population is smaller than KL. So only 4.9 million people live in the whole country. So one of the countries we get compared to is Singapore. So we have quite a similar economy to Singapore in terms of large multinational companies using it as a base to access a wider network like Asia or Europe. The Irish economy. So the Irish economy, according to the OECD, which is the one of the economic global think tanks, is that the Irish economy will be the least impacted globally by the coronavirus pandemic. Why is this, do you think? So they estimate basically that the shutdown will reduce the economic activity in Ireland by about 15%. And while that is significant, it is the mildest of any economic hit in Ireland. This is important for you, and I'll explain why this is the case, but it's important for you because it means that there will still be post-work opportunities, even in the COVID situation, and obviously post-COVID, the post-COVID crisis, there is kind of a recession planned or expected for the world after COVID recedes, but Ireland is seen to be one of the most least impacted, which is important. Why is this? So UL has over 2,000 industry partners. Most of these are based in Ireland. Many of them are sectors that are key in the fight versus COVID. So the topic is pharmaceuticals, medical devices, computer science, and finance. And those 4 sectors are actually busier now than they ever would have been before COVID. So we have companies in Limerick, a company called Regeneron, which has the US government contract to research a vaccine for COVID-19. That has been researched in Limerick in a large research and development plant here. We're currently lecturing and talking through Zoom. Zoom has their European headquarters in Dublin. You know, Microsoft has Microsoft Teams, and Google is developing Google Classroom and things like that. So all of these companies are developing research and new kind of solutions to the challenges that are being put to us by COVID-19. As a result, they are still hiring staff. They're looking for talent. They're looking for staff members to join their teams. So Ireland is an EU hub for a lot of these industries. So this wasn't planned. It was kind of by luck a little bit, but we have been lucky to have that in place. So we're going to do just a quick exercise. So there's a reactions button at the bottom bar. So if you can recognize one of these companies, so if you've heard of one of these companies, or if you'd like to work in one of these companies, I want you to give a thumbs up in the reaction bar. So these are all companies that have their European headquarters in Ireland. Okay, so from left to right, we'll cover some of the big ones. So Amazon, have you heard of Amazon? Would you like to work in Amazon? Google, Regeneron, Twitter, Citibank, IBM. From Asia, then we obviously have Fujitsu, HCL, Huawei, Microsoft, VMware. These are all massive companies that have their European hub in Ireland. So I'm just going to check to see if we have we've got a good number of thumbs up there. So you guys obviously recognize some of these companies, and it's something that the visas in Ireland will allow you to work in their European hubs based here in Ireland as well. So that's a key function or a key thing to bear in mind about Irish education. It's not just the university experience, it's the post-study visa, and it's the companies that you can work in after you graduate. If you get an Amazon or a Twitter or an Apple on your CV, that allows you to fast track your career, and it gives you a real step up in terms of career progression after you graduate. So some of the clusters, and these are, I did some research before the talk on what kind of what is the profile of companies that are based here in Ireland. So 9 of the top 10 global information technology companies have their European headquarters in Ireland. 8 of the top 10 gaming companies, so EA, Blizzard, Activision, you know, if you ever play Xbox, the logos that pop up, pretty much all of those have their headquarters here in Ireland. 8 of the top 10 pharmaceutical companies, 15 of the top 20 medical device companies, 50% of the world's leading financial services firms all have their European headquarters in Ireland. So it's not small SMEs, it's not, you know, small fry companies that you're applying for. You're applying for the blue chip and the top standard companies in the world if you study here. Just to give you an idea as well. So one of the questions we often get is, you know, if I study in Limerick, can I get a job in Dublin? Is there jobs available in Limerick? You know, what's the spread of jobs over the country? So I know this is quite a text heavy slide, but there's over 62,000 people directly employed in biopharma and med tech manufacturing in Ireland. So we've all heard about COVID-19 and the importance of ventilators. So to allow for clear breathing for people who have severe cases of COVID-19. Over 70% of the world's ventilators are manufactured in Ireland. So a lot of those are actually manufactured on the west coast of Ireland, in Galway, Limerick and Cork. You can see here the spread geographically of jobs in biopharma. And there's a number of large clusters in Munster, near Dublin, and in Limerick and in Galway as well. On the right-hand side are tech hubs. So Dublin is known as the Silicon Valley of Europe. So San Francisco is the Silicon Valley, the original, and now Dublin is seen as almost equivalent to that. So a lot of the ICT jobs are based in Dublin, but you can see also there's a tech cluster in the Midwest. So grouped around Limerick and around the university, there's a big number of large ICT firms based here as well. One of the big things about Ireland is that it's very small. So from Limerick to Dublin is just 2 hours. So if you wanted to do an interview either as a student in Dublin in Limerick or as a Limerick student to get a job in Dublin, it's very, very straightforward. And lots of our graduates travel all over Ireland to secure work. Another thing to touch on is average salaries. So, you know, what is the kind of average salary to a bachelor's degree student? So overall, from an Irish perspective, the average graduate salary is about 30,000 euros. For UL specifically, so we do our annual graduate salary survey, and the average graduate salary for UL graduates is 35,000 euros. So, and this is not specific to UL then, but this is sector specific. So as a med tech or pharmaceutical graduate, you can expect approximately 35,000 euros as a starting salary. I've done an exchange rate yesterday through XE, so I'm not sure what the exchange rate is normally, but it works out about 155,000 Malaysian ringgit per year. For finance, you can expect a salary of about 30,000, so 147,000 Malaysian ringgit. For computer science and technology, a starting graduate salary of about 31,000 euros, 153 Malaysian ringgit. So the salaries are very, very strong. You can expect, you know, they're probably the 3 or 4 most kind of highly paid sectors for standard graduates in the Irish industry. So what makes UL distinctive, and why would you choose UL to study and to access postgraduate opportunities? So as I mentioned earlier, we have the largest internship program in Europe. Every single student gets an 8-month paid work placement as part of the program. We have the #1 international student experience in the world and #3 in Europe for career preparation. So a big reason for that is our degrees are designed by industry for industry. So we ask our 2,000 industry partners, what skills do you need for graduates to have? And then we design our programs around those skills so that our graduates are work ready when they complete their program. And the good news, maybe not for you, but for parents, or if any of you are self-funded, our costs are quite affordable. So our fees are approximately 12,000 euros per year. And I'll go a little bit into detail on that as well. So the structure of UL degrees. So for bachelor's degrees, all of our programs are 4 years in duration. For some of you that are currently studying in TAR UC, we do allow for advanced entry, so you can transfer your credits from TAR UC into the University of Limerick. And depending on how far along your program you've gone, it will vary which year you will enter into. So for year 1 and year 2, you'll study theory and you'll do practical work on campus. Year 3, we do an 8-month internship. It's paid and in a company related to your study area. That's organized by the university. So you don't need to organize your own internship. You can if you prefer, but we do provide internships for all students. And the salaries are approximately €2,000 per month during your internship program. In year 4, you will come back to the university, you'll complete your program, and you'll complete a research project during year 4. And then you get a stay back visa to find a job in Ireland after that program. For those of you considering a master's degree, it's a 1-year program. We have 2 thought semesters, so from September to May, and then you do a research project or a company internship over the summer, and then you'll finish that program in September, and you'll get a 2-year stay-back visa for a master's program. And then, as I mentioned, our fees are between 11 and 16,000 euros per year.
Liam, just go back to the previous slide.
Yeah.
There's a question that we receive from students. If TAR UC diploma students, normally they will be given credit transfer into which year? Year 2 or?
So if they've done if they've done a 2-year diploma, they will enter onto year 2. If they've done a 3-year diploma, they'll enter onto year 3 normally.
Okay.
So it depends. I think there's a variety of different diploma programs, but most of our TAR transfer students enter onto year 3 of the program. I think the vast majority do the 3-year higher diploma.
Mostly we have the 2-year diploma. Only students from the built environment, they have a 2.5-year diploma. So basically, mostly of them, students will go into the year 2.
Into year 2,
year
exactly.
2 of the degree.
And the benefit with going on to year 2 is that they can access the work placement in year 3. So if you start into year 3, you don't have time to have the work placement in place. So you would actually do an academic semester in place of that. So it's best to actually enter onto year 2. You do 1 year on campus, do your work placement, and then do your final year on campus.
All right, sure.
Perfect. So I'll keep going. I'm not going to list out all of the programs. We have over 190 programs, but we're organized basically into 4 faculties. So science and engineering, education, health science, arts, humanities and social science, and business. And then each of those, there's 19 schools in total, and each one of them will offer bachelor's, master's, and PhD programs across all of those areas. So varied into about 190 programs. So we should have a program that fits for most students' preferences. Then just to kind of cover the cost piece in a little bit more detail, the cost of education in Ireland is significantly lower than that in some of our competitors. So UK, USA, Australia, even Canada. And the reason for that is normally that you're studying in publicly funded universities. So we are funded by the Irish government. So the cost of education is subsidized partially by the Irish government for international students. So our tuition fees are on average about 12,000 euros, and living costs in Limerick are about 7,000 euros. So the overall cost there is just under 20,000. And you can see the comparison then, it's almost 10,000 euros cheaper than the UK. Less than half the cost of the USA, and about 15,000 euros cheaper than Australia as a kind of an average fee. So you can obviously have higher and lower fees based on that, but it is useful to see that just kind of a comparison between the cost of living and the cost of tuition. So another area, and students will often access this, is part-time work during studies. So part-time work is very, very useful. Students can work up to 20 hours per week during semester and 40 hours per week outside of semester. The minimum wage, so the least amount you can earn, is €9.70 per hour. So even if you're working in cafes, shops, and so on, you will earn approximately 10,000 euros per year. The normal process is that students in year 1 and year 2 will work in kind of shops and retail and things like that. They will do their internship program in year 3, which is a paid internship and full-time. In year 4, it's more likely that you'll be able to secure kind of professional type internships or you know, CV building type internships where you're using your UL internship program to apply for part-time internships or part-time work in professional companies. So it's very difficult to get that as a first or second year undergraduate student, but as you progress through your program, there is opportunities to get part-time work in areas that you're studying as well. So it's useful to bear that in mind. We do facilitate and we help with job searching through UL Student Life. So we have a web portal that advertises part-time jobs both on and off campus. So students can work on campus, and there's lots of jobs in accommodation, in the shops and restaurants on campus, but also the city centre is about 10 minutes away by bus, and a lot of students will work part-time jobs in retail, in restaurants and shops. And obviously, as things are reopening here in Ireland, we're seeing more and more part-time jobs come back in shops and in retail and things like that. Working after studies. So this is the key part in terms of postgraduate opportunities. You've finished your program. How do I get a job afterwards? And, you know, can I get a long-term duration stay visa if possible? So when you graduate, the university will sponsor you for a visa automatically. So any graduate from UL will automatically get a stay back visa. For bachelor's graduates, it's a 1 year. For master's graduates, it's a 2-year visa. Okay, so that's an automatic. You can work unrestricted during that period. During that time, you will access the UL Careers Connect service. So that is a one-to-one counseling service, assistance for job searching, job matching, interview techniques, CV writing, and so on. During that 1 year, you will then apply for jobs. You'll find a position, and then if you're successful with finding a job, I will then talk you through the process of applying for a longer duration stay. Just to give a very promising fact, so 97% of our graduates within 6 months are either in employment or are doing further studies. So it's a very, very high graduate employment rate. And of our international students, about 80% of those access jobs in Ireland, and the rest are working overseas. So either in their home country or in another country like the UK or USA. For longer duration stay, so if you want to stay on after your graduate visa, you must apply for what's called a Tier 2 visa. So that's a kind of a working visa. It's 3 years in duration. You must have a full-time role in an area related to your studies. So if you did computer science, for example, you would need to be working in a computer science company. The salary must be 30,000 euros or above. And as you saw from the average salaries in those 4 areas that we mentioned, that's quite achievable. It must be in a skills shortage area, which finance, computer science, pharma, and medical devices are all on the skills shortage list. And crucially, the company must be willing to sponsor your visa. Once that happens, you would have your 3 years working visa at that stage. And then once you're working in Ireland for 5 years, you can apply for permanent residency at that stage. So you can apply for your long-term residency visa. You will get all the rights of an Irish citizen. You can apply for an Irish passport and so on. So that's the kind of the step-by-step journey up until that point. And we do have a number of students that have gone through that process, all the way from enrolling as a bachelor's degree student in Limerick, all the way through to PR, 5 or 6 years after that. So just a kind of a short summary, I know we covered it in the Q&A at the start, but just a very short summary of the COVID response in UL and in Ireland. So classes will resume on the 28th of September. Our application deadline is the end of August. And for anyone who's a Malaysian passport holder, you guys are very lucky. You don't need a visa to come to study in Ireland. So you can basically apply, you will travel to Ireland, you do your self-isolation period, and you get your student visa status within the first couple of weeks of arriving. So classes in Limerick will be a mixture of online and face-to-face. So we will have online classes where social distancing is not possible. So if it's a large lecture theatre with 100 people or so, we will do it through Zoom. So similar to what I'm doing right now, our professors will be set up to facilitate. And there will also be face-to-face teaching in smaller groups, so practicing social distancing with masks and so on, but it will be face-to-face teaching where you'll have discussion groups, project work, and interactions face-to-face with your teachers. We also have laboratories which are practical work, and they are all being worked on at the moment to kit them out properly so that it's safe for our students to kind of learn practically in our labs as well. The Irish situation, and for those of you that didn't hear at the start, so we only have 300 active cases at the moment, so very, very low numbers. No new cases in Limerick over the last 10 days. And we're on a reopening plan, a 5-stage process. We're currently on stage 3, which is the borders are still closed, but there's free movement within the country. Social distancing and masks and things like that are compulsory. But it is kind of moving towards the right direction. We're expecting travel to come into Ireland in the next kind of month or so. So for flights to be able to come into Ireland at the end of June or end of July, sorry. And the process for students arriving onto campus there will be a 2-week self-isolation period. So that will happen in the university accommodation. We will provide food and supplies to students who are self-isolating. Our orientation program will happen at the same time. So students will actually do a virtual orientation program online with the international division. And then you will start classes on the 28th of September as normal, and all of your kind of facilities on campus will be available to you. So very, very kind of summary before we go to questions and answers. So expect an excellent student experience and student happiness. A safe and strong COVID response in Ireland. So the number of cases in Ireland compared to, the USA and UK in particular is very, very low. So it is a safe destination to study in. Expect internships and industry experience both in bachelor's and at master's level. We have extremely high graduate employment rates, so access into those sectors: finance, med tech, pharmaceuticals, computer science. They're the key areas that we're hiring. There is jobs in other areas, but these are kind of the focus areas for us as a sector. It's affordable. So oftentimes people associate low quality with low cost, but actually the Irish government subsidizes us. We receive millions of euros of funding each year. So while the cost is quite low, the quality is very, very high. So the rankings and the student supports and things like that reflect that. And then, as I said, one of the key things to bear in mind on any decision that you make is what are my opportunities after I graduate? And Ireland will have companies that are based and leading the fight versus COVID-19. And I think that's a key part of any opportunities after you graduate, is that there will be work opportunities for you to build your CV and build your profile to further success in your career. So just before I finish, I just want to show a quick video. So we interviewed Jessie, who is a Tara UC alumni. She is a current student on our pharmaceutical and industrial chemistry program. So she'll just give, I think, about 1 minute of a summary of her experience so far in UL.
I choose University of Limerick is that because I'm choosing pharmaceutical science next year, and I heard that Ireland is like one of the most best place to study this subject. My favorite part of UL is probably all the helps that I get from here and all the people that I met, and the international office here to give a huge help for me, like for me to get comfortable in Ireland and everything. Sometimes when I miss home or when we're having celebrations together, we can actually get similar ingredients to cook similar home food, so it's quite good. It's very important to meet good people when you're studying abroad or when you're living in another country. And all the people that I met in Limerick are very friendly to me and they help me a lot. 我非常推荐大家来 UL 来 Limerick， 因为这里的研究环境也非常好，这里的资源什么的都非常丰富，然后这里遇到的人也都非常好，所以我非常推荐大家来这里。
Okay, so we'll move on to questions. If there's any kind of questions that you want to ask me, feel free. I hope you've put some in chat and we'll try and answer them as best we can.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Liam. Okay. So just to add on before we move on to questions, all right, just basically to add on to Liam's presentation, basically in terms of what will you expect if you want to study in the University of Limerick, on top of the internships, the practical experience, the high quality education. Besides that, Actually, University of Limerick has a very impressive campus, okay, and also very extensive research facilities, and also to complement your learning, all right? So with the opening up of the the borders in Ireland later in late July or early August, at the moment, Malaysia international students who hold an valid offer, all right, and being accepted to overseas university, the government has allowed international travel. Okay, so Malaysians, you want to travel to Ireland, hopefully at the end, when the borders in Ireland is open, you can travel to Ireland for face-to-face classes. Okay, so COVID response, all right, the safety precautions, everything is taken care of. All right, so students do not need to worry. All right, with Ireland being the European hub, being the forefront in terms of pharmaceutical sciences and medical devices, you are in very good hands. Okay, so on top of that, with the partnership, okay, with TAR-UC and University of Limerick, we do accept, Limerick, they do accept students into credit transfer into year 2, all right, and they do offer some scholarships, okay, and basically some students did ask about, like, we'll go straight to the questions, want to know about the scholarship available for international students.
Yes, very good question. So we have a specific TAR-UC, a Malaysia scholarship available for students. So it is available to credit transfer students who come in. It's worth 1,500 euros per year, but it's over the duration of the rest of their studies. So the total value is about 4,500 euros. So that basically would be judged off their GPA from TAR-UC. So ideally, students would need a GPA of 3.0 or above from TAR to transfer into UL.
And in terms of the common question that the students will ask also in terms of the English requirement?
Yes, we actually accept 1119 English. So if you have done 1119 English, a C or above, then you've met the English language requirements. If you haven't sat 1119 English, then you can do IELTS. So IELTS requirement is 6.5 with no less than 6 in any one area. We also accept TOEFL, PTE, and a whole host of other exams. But I think most students that I speak to have 1119 English in Malaysia, and that seems to be the easiest way. And there's no expiry on that's valid for any duration. So even if that was a couple of years ago when you sat it, we can still accept it as long as it's C or above.
Yes, and to add on to that, IELTS for students who didn't meet the English requirement, TAR-UC CPE Center also offers IELTS preparatory courses, English enhancement program to help you prepare for the IELTS test. Okay, so moving on to the next question. That question from Daniel. He would like to know about the tuition fees and also the available scholarships. Scholarship, as we shared, is 1,500 euro per year, okay, across the duration of your studies. So this one is special for TAR-UC graduates. And in terms of the tuition fee, I believe Daniel is a student from international business. So he's currently doing his diploma, if I'm not mistaken, yes.
Fantastic. So basically the fees vary by faculty. So for business and for arts, humanities, social science, the fees are 12,000 euros. And for computer science, health science, and education, the fees are slightly higher just because of extra lab work and things like that. So the fees for that is 16,000. So for international business, it would be 12,000 euros. And then after scholarship, it would be about 10,500 euros.
Okay, so 10,500 euros. And Daniel, yes, University of Limerick does have a Bachelor in International Business. So you can Google it, all right, have a look what the cost structures. And we also have another question in terms of accommodation. How much is the average cost for accommodation in UL, both private and also maybe university managed accommodation?
Perfect. I'm going to share my screen again. I'll just show you the the campus accommodation first, just what that looks like, and it's useful just to see. So this is the campus accommodation. So we have basically, we were looking at potentially shared ensuite bedrooms, but it will be single occupancy. So every student will have their own bedroom, their own bathroom, and own study area. So this is an example of one of the bedrooms. And then basically you would have a shared living room and a shared kitchen with 2, 4, or 6 other students. So they're in apartment blocks. We have about 4,000 spaces on campus, and the cost is between 4,000 and 6,000 euros. So if you only share with 2 people, it's slightly more expensive. If you share with 6 people, it's slightly less expensive. But you have your own private room in an apartment block or an apartment building, basically. So that's the kind of the overall cost. That includes your electricity bills, your waste bill, Wi-Fi, and everything included. And they're all within kind of 2 or 3 minutes walking distance to the teaching buildings on campus. So they're kind of dotted around the university campus. For off-campus living, there is a database of approved landlords in the Limerick area that's managed by the UL Accommodations Office. So we have a list of kind of verified apartments that are available to students. The cost for off-campus is slightly less expensive, but the bills aren't included in that. So we say around 3,000 euros per year for rent, but the bills will be kind of included. So the cost difference between on and off campus is not massive. It's slightly more expensive for on campus, but me as a UL alumni, I lived both on and off campus, and the quality of life and the kind of the ease of everything was much better on campus. If you can access on campus accommodation, I would personally recommend it anyway, just because it's just more convenient to get to everything. The university is surrounded by a residential area, so most of the private accommodation is in kind of within walking distance or cycling distance to the university, but the quality of accommodation is more varied because it is private landlords that manage it. So some will be fantastic and some will be not so good. So it's much more predictable if you take the university campus accommodation.
And to add on for students who have, who are considering, basically we would encourage students for the first year you are in Ireland, you take the campus managed accommodation. First thing, you are secured because these accommodations are managed by the university and also is quality assured, and you have guaranteed this place for you to stay when you land. All right. So maybe after you've spent 1 year in Ireland, okay, get to know friends, all right, maybe move out of the accommodation, then you get your own private accommodation. And secondly, for students who choose the campus managed accommodation, you have a community, all right, and facilities, which private accommodation may not be available. And also in terms of the after sales service, like suddenly maybe you have a bug which is fused. So you can just call up the campus managed accommodation. They will have people to schedule at the earliest convenience. But for landlords, it will vary according to your landlord.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. And I did that exact thing. So I lived on campus year 1 and year 2. I found a group of friends and we decided to get a house off campus year 3 and year 4. So yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. Definitely living on campus is the best option for people who are arriving newly into Ireland, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And we also have a question from Liana. If, let's say, does Limerick accept GCE O-levels English language?
Yes. So yes. So GCE O-levels and I think 1119 English are the exact same.
It's the same.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And there's no expiry date for that. So we accept that throughout the duration of your studies.
Yes. Okay. And for scholarships, okay, we have participants who are interested on scholarships available for master study. Does the 1,500 euro scholarship also applies to master studies?
The good news for them is that there's better scholarships again for postgraduate. So okay. We offer large scholarships for postgraduate, There is a 1,500 euros, there's a 2,000 and a 4,000 euros. And that depends again on which faculty you apply for. So the higher values are for computer science, for engineering and so on, because they're slightly more expensive. But also we do have funding agencies that provide 100% scholarships for postgraduate as well at master's and PhD. So there is routes to get fully funded master's or PhD programs, as well as significant partial scholarships through the university. So the partial scholarship is assessed from your GPA from TAR. So you would need a GPA of 3.3 or higher to get the top scholarship. And then the 100% scholarships are normally based on the topic that you're studying. Does it match the research goals of the university? And we would have kind of a list of those programs on our research website. So for PhDs, for example, we're actively looking for PhD students in the area of computer science, in artificial intelligence, 3D printing and things like that. So we would offer fully funded PhDs to those type students if they match the profile.
Okay, and just to recap, just want to confirm, we do have students who graduated from TAR UC and pursued master's studies in Ireland. And we do, if I remember it correctly, we do have students who was under the government of Ireland full scholarship, right? Who studied in Ireland.
Exactly, yeah. So the Irish government then offers 60 full scholarship places to international students studying master's degrees in Ireland as well. UL receives a number of those students every year, and they're kind of they're divided up across different nationalities as well. So not all 60 will come from Malaysia, but there is opportunities for fully funded master's programs for sure. There's other avenues. So that's one way to get a fully funded scholarship, but there is other ways to do it as well.
Yeah, but of course, participants, if let's say you are interested in this kind of government funded scholarship, besides being academically excellent, of course, your co-curricular activities or your soft skills training will add value to your scholarship application. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, and a lot of them are based on what do you actually aim to do after you graduate? What impact are you going to bring? So it's based on kind of project enablement and things like that. So it's quite important. Another thing to mention, and we have received some sports science students from TAR UC previously, but we do have sizable sports scholarships across athletics, swimming, different sports that students can access as well. So if you are kind of at the elite level of sports, you can potentially access sports scholarships up to the value of 10,000 euros per year as well.
All right. So thank you. And moving on, the question by Stephen, he would like to know the fees for PhD in finance and how long would be the duration?
So again, the fees will be around the same as the business program, so 12,000 euros per year. Our average duration for PhD is 4 years. So that does really depend on the topic that you're studying and also the supervisor, but most of our PhD students complete within 4 years.
Okay, so hope, Stephen, we answered your question. And I have Alice who messaged me privately. She is a foundation TAR UC student, okay? So if she wants to continue on to degree, does UL accept TAR UC foundation into their first year?
Yeah, so we accept the TAR UC foundation. Basically, it would need to be a match of the type of area that you want to study. So a foundation in science, if you're applying into one of our science programs and so on. But yes, we absolutely accept the TAR program. Jessie actually studied A-levels in TAR UC. So she did the A-levels curriculum and then came to UL after that. But yes, we accept kind of the full TAR curriculum across the board.
Okay. So for if let's say students, you are from a TAR UC foundation background, TAR UC A-levels, diploma, degree, masters, all right? UL does accept all these qualifications into their programs. So TAR UC programs, we are worldwide recognized. Okay, yes, it's just that we have to see which are the pathways. For example, if you are studying international business, you can go on to international business, but let's say you would like to try something different, like marketing, or let's say human resource management, then we will need to do something we call course mapping. Okay, so it's not like that straightforward, but you may need to start off from year one, or may take additional modules compared to normal students. Okay, so we are here for you, study abroad unit. We do help students put in these applications for you. Okay, so do we have any more questions to the floor? All right, if let's say during this time, if you want to have you want to ask personally, you are lazy to type, you can just unmute your microphone, just ask around. All right. Okay, so yes, we do have another one. Is 30,000 euros sufficient for me to live comfortably in Ireland?
That is a good question. So it is a good salary. So it will allow you to kind of rent an apartment, you know, cover your costs and things like that. It depends on which city you live in, in terms of how much extra you'll have left over at the end of the month. If you live in Dublin, the costs can be quite expensive. So the rent in Dublin is maybe 10 or 12,000 euros per year, compared to Limerick, which is 4,000 or 6,000 euros. So 30,000 euros definitely is enough to cover you for living expenses. Just how much you have for savings or for paying back your student loan depends on which city you live in afterwards. So Limerick and Galway are kind of slightly lower cost. Cork is a little bit higher, and then Dublin would be the highest cost. But 30,000 euros is definitely a good salary. It's above the average salary threshold in Ireland. So yeah, you would have sufficient money to enjoy yourself and survive from that salary.
In terms of the tax structure, international, let's say international students who graduated, starting a full-time job in Ireland, how their taxes will be?
Yeah, so basically the university will help you during your studies, will help you set up what's called a PPS number. So that's kind of like a personal tax number. So like a social security number for people familiar with the US. So that would be kind of your identifier in terms of your tax levels and so on. The way that the tax system works in Ireland is that we have what are called tax thresholds. So anything you earn under about 18,000 euros is completely free of tax. Anything you earn between 18 and 30,000 euros has about 12 to 15% tax. From 30 to 50 is 25% tax. And then from 50% above is about 42% tax. So the lower your salary, the less tax you pay. And then it goes up in bands. Basically, the percentage of tax you pay increases slightly as you earn more money, basically. And there's no difference between an international student and a domestic worker. Once you have a PPS number, basically, you're treated the same from a tax point of view as myself or anyone with a PPS number.
And with this paying tax, does international nationality enjoy the same benefit like healthcare, like social care and such?
Yeah, exactly. So built into the tax is what we call PRSI. So I'm not sure, pay-related social insurance it's called. So that covers healthcare costs in Ireland, and it also covers social welfare. So if you lose your job for any reason, you will be able to access kind of unemployment payment. So for example, our international students that were working part-time here up until March, those that lost their part-time jobs have actually been given an unemployment payment of 1,400 euros per month. So that has been they have been able to kind of continue paying their rent and pay for groceries and so on. But that is available to students who have paid this PRSI. So you basically you would contribute into that as part of your standard tax. Any healthcare in Ireland, basically, you pay a small access fee. So if I go to a GP, I pay 50 euros for the appointment, and then any further treatments after that basically are covered by the healthcare insurance.
Okay, so we do have, for students, I mean, you can post your questions to everyone, all right? So I have some who PM me, private messages me.
No problem.
Okay. For Lao Xingyi, she's a diploma in year 2 Sem 1 student, okay? And she started her year 2 course, okay, in the UL, all right? Assuming, does she need to finish her diploma year 2 Sem 3 first in TAUC in order for her to apply for the degree, or can she apply with a conditional offer?
She can apply with a, so you can basically apply while you're currently completing, and you can get a conditional offer letter based on that, depending on when you want to travel. So we only normally do one intake per year in September. So if you wanted to travel this year, you would just finish your first year, and you can transfer in. I would personally recommend completing your diploma and then transferring into UL after that, just so you have the TAR qualification as well. But you can transfer at any period into UL. Just that will basically decide then how far along the program you will join. But you can apply before you complete your diploma, get a conditional offer letter, and then you can join then in the next intake. That would probably be the smoothest way of joining.
Yes. So advice for students who are studying diploma: complete your diploma studies first. Okay, because you want to benefit from the partnership scholarship, one thing. Second thing is the credit transfer, all right? So with credit transfer, diploma students, normally you will get into year 2 of the degree studies. If let's say you haven't completed diploma, first you may need to start from degree year 1, or even some cases, if your diploma doesn't meet the required qualification, you may even start from foundation. So it will be disadvantage for you. And of course, you don't enjoy the TAUC partnership discount. Okay. So we also have students asking, okay, how does study loan? Is there any study loan available for international students?
It's difficult to get study loans in the country you're planning to study in. So we do get students who access study loans in Malaysia, or if they're coming from China or from India. It's because you're coming to Ireland for a short period of time. There isn't normally kind of anything to guarantee that loan. So it's more likely that you would get a study loan from Malaysia to study in Ireland as opposed to an Irish study loan. Yes.
So to add on to that, for Malaysia, at the moment, we only know that there is this Kojadi loan, all right? You can Google Kojadi loan, okay? And this is applicable for overseas studies. Otherwise, there are other means of, funding, like if let's say you can, your parents, if they are paying EPF, all right, they can withdraw from their account too. And other than that, study loans, you can check with the banks, okay? If let's say you are taking out a personal loan for education, they may have lower interest rates, okay? So master course for international students, you can only have one mode of study, which is full-time. There is no part-time, okay? All right, and then for international students, we have covered the study loan. And does UL offer any dual award program? At the moment, we do not have, all right, with TAUC, but in the future, we are not sure, okay? So we are always open for discussion, but at the moment, we are still with both parties. I mean, the government, I would say the quality assurance of both parties at the moment doesn't allow us to do that. But we encourage students to, like, if let's say you maybe face some financial difficulties, maybe you can complete your degree whole in TAUC first and go to UL for a master. Masters are normally 1 year, correct?
1 year, yeah, 1 year.
Yeah, and 1 year of studies, yet you can get 2 years of post-study work visa. And with a master's qualification, you have a higher level of qualification. Okay, so it adds on to your resume.
Absolutely.
Okay?
and it's something that I know we have discussed. So our vice president, Professor Kirsten May, met with Prof. Sai-Sok Kwan at the 50th anniversary of TAR UC, and it was one of the things that was on the discussion during that meeting and that conference. So it is something we're potentially working towards, but the Irish government and the Malaysian government need to work on co-recognition. But it is the UL degree is recognised in Malaysia and the TAR degree is recognised in Ireland, but just dual degree is a little bit more difficult. However, we do have dual degree awards with our bachelor's and our master's with European universities. So if you wanted to do part of your program either at master's or bachelor's level in Ireland, we do have French, German, Dutch, UK business schools that we have twinning with as well. So there is dual degrees, just not outside of the European Union at the moment.
Yes. All right. So hopefully, Liana, we answered your question. Okay. And yes, for Li Zijia, okay, he is a second-year student of degree in information technology. So regarding masters, your pathway is basically you have to complete your bachelor degree first and move on to masters in University of Limerick. So what are the computing programs available in University of Limerick?
Yeah, so at master's level, we have Masters of Software Engineering, Master of Software Engineering and Data Analytics, Master of Cybersecurity, Masters of Artificial Intelligence, Masters of Computer Engineering, Computer Systems, Software Development, Computer Games Design, and I haven't got the full list, but they're the main masters in our School of Computer Science. But the very popular ones would be Software Development, Software Engineering, AI, and Cybersecurity.
Yeah, and just to add on, I mean, on top of like what Liam has shared, Limerick has extensive industrial linkages, okay, with the industries surrounding, all right, Limerick and also Galway. So basically, students, if you are a graduate from Limerick, so you could benefit from the lower living costs outside of Dublin, and also working in the west side, sort of like a Silicon Valley of Ireland. Mm-hmm. And job opportunities are plenty. Okay, we have graduates who are, I mean, Malaysians, graduates seeking a job. Okay, so we will have, in the future, we will have these kind of talks and such. So do look out for that. Okay, and basically for opportunities, as long as you are open, okay, get down with the universe. I mean, with the locals. All right, mix with local people. Okay, mm-hmm. Don't like just confine to Malaysians. You just always spend your time with Malaysians. Spend more time doing volunteering work. Okay, go to the communities. All right, working for the communities. Who knows? Okay, the one that you're working with may be a CEO of a company, and they give you this opportunity.
Exactly, right? And actually, my first job, I spoke more in my interview. I spoke about two things. I spoke about my internship in the Department of Foreign Affairs, number one. And the second thing I spoke about is my experience on the committee of the American football team. So we organized budgets. We did fundraisers for charity. We had, marketing and recruitment events every year for new members. And that actually is more applicable to what you do in a job than oftentimes what you learn in the classroom. So definitely, it's not just about academics. You need to have the hard skills to do a specific job, but you need the soft skills like, being a team player, being able to network, being able to communicate with people, being able to kind of bring people together, work collaboratively. That's almost as important, or in some cases more important than the hard skills that you learn in the classroom. So that's very, very important, and make sure that it's something that we do encourage all of our students to participate, either in volunteering, in sport, in music, in drama, or something like that. All of our student activities are student-led. So we fund them from the university side, but basically we give you apply for a certain amount of funds as students. Whatever activities you want to do, They're organized by the students, they're led by the students, they take part in the students. So everything is kind of is implemented and managed by student members as well. So that's very, very important. And get involved, no matter what university you go to, get involved in clubs and societies, mix with everybody, mix with, you know, Indian students, Chinese students, Irish students, US students. You'll build a network that will benefit your career further down the line.
Understand. All right. So just to recap, okay, just to summarize, all right, for TAR UC students, all right, regardless of you are from foundation, you are from diploma, you are from degree, or you are from master's program, we do have, okay, pathways to University of Limerick for you. So it's just a matter of matching your qualifications to the qualification in Ireland. So foundation, you can go on to degree. Diploma, you can go on to degree in Ireland. Degree, you can go on to masters, etc. and etc. All right. So just to share, all right, just to conclude, before we conclude our session today, all right. So just to share a little bit of information about, besides, you can get in touch with this Liam, okay, or you can get in touch with us. Let me share the screen. Okay, so study abroad unit, all right, we do, during this MCO period, unfortunately, we are not open to the public, but we do accept, we do arrange phone counseling, okay, so you can drop us an email at sau.cp@tarc, or call or WhatsApp us at this number, and we can arrange a phone counseling session with you, or even a video call such as this, okay? So in the event, okay, once the the TAR UC, oh, sorry, not sure what happened. All right, in terms of if the epidemic improves, okay, this is our office. You can welcome to come over and have a chat with us, or even get some reference materials of the brochures from Limerick, from University of Limerick, or even courseworks. All right. Okay. And let's say in terms of our TAR UC offices, okay, this is our East Campus. And do scan this QR code, all right? Do scan this QR code for our coursework. Let me see. Okay, do scan this QR code for our Facebook page for any of our upcoming webinars and such. Okay, so thank you very much. All right, that's the end of our session. Okay, so Liam has shared the official website to the University of Limerick. Inside there, you can search for information about courses, okay, information about scholarships. But of course, TAR UC scholarships, it will be an exclusive one. So do reach out to Study Abroad Unit for more information. Yeah. And thank you very much, Liam, for the informative session today. Hopefully everyone has a clearer picture about the opportunities available in Ireland. And if let's say you have any inquiries, okay, do drop us an email or even WhatsApp us. We will be here for you. We do offer assistance from counseling up until you are in Ireland. Okay, we do have partners, and we work with different partners, getting your air tickets, sorting out your accommodation, getting your acceptance, all until you are safely in Ireland. Right? So anything you want to add, Liam, before we end?
No, thank you so much for the opportunity. Just to kind of summarize, I think the big thing is with UL, you can expect an amazing experience while on campus, but the best thing is those postgraduate opportunities in medtech, in finance, in pharma, and in computer science. So we're excited to welcome you all to Limerick, and hopefully we can meet each other in person on campus in the next couple of months and years.
All right. So thank you, Liam. Thank you, everyone, for joining. So hopefully we will see you in our next webinar. All right, take care, good night, and a good day to you, Liam. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.
Okay. So let's see, stop recording.